Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how I made these Easter egg pendants using decals that I made on a Cricut machine. Welcome to Rocket Rose Art. My name is Jeff. Today's video is going to be a little different. I'm going to introduce another dimension to this. We're going to make some cabochons for pendants for Easter, and we're going to use a Cricut machine to make the decals that we're going to use. So I think you will find that interesting, especially if you've been using a Cricut machine for a lot of your other craft. And if you think this is interesting, this video, please don't forget to hit the like button, and if you've got any questions, put them in the comments below and I will answer them. So we'll get started with this now. The Cricut machine, if you're not familiar with it, is a machine that's used to cut out paper, cardboard and a number of materials for use in other crafts. If you're anything like Anne and I, we're into a variety of different things, and Anne has one of these Cricut machines that she uses. Now she uses it for card making and a variety of things, and I'm talking about greeting cards. Now it does have the ability to cut out stencils, and I've found it also has the ability to cut out decal paper, which is fusible decal paper, so you can make your own decals. And that's what we're going to be doing today. So hopefully this will all go well. I will show you an image. I'll put up an image of the Cricut machine when I talk about the materials and the equipment needed, and while I'm not an expert in the Cricut machine, hopefully I can give you a bit of an insight into that. So we'll talk now about the materials and equipment that you'll need, and I'll deal with the equipment first up. You will need access to or own a Cricut machine. The one I'm showing you here is the Cricut Maker, and that's the one we'll be using, but there are other models, and I believe they could be used to do the same thing, and that is to cut out these decals. You'll also need a computer that you can connect to the Cricut machine. On the computer you'll need to download some software to use, and I'll tell you more about that when I show you how to make the decals. You'll need some decal paper, and here's some I've got here. I've only got the three colors that I'm going to use today. And you can see on this orange one, I've already cut a couple of little decals out of that. You'll also need the glass, and you can see here I've got, this is all bullseye glass, 90 COE, and I've got 0108 up here, which is powder blue. We then have 0112, which is mint green, 0420, which is cream, and 0421, which is pink. Now I've chosen those colours for a very specific reason, besides the fact that I do prefer the lighter colours. And that reason is that these glasses are not reactive at all. Now reactive means that they can react together, which you have probably seen more commonly between something like vanilla and turquoise. Now the reason you want to pick those is because there is the chance that your decal paper will react with the glass. And I'll just show you a little test that I did, and that's that one there. Now that's Egyptian blue, and that little rabbit on there, believe it or not, is actually that orange decal paper. Now the orange contains sulfur. This contains the Egyptian blue contains lead, hence we've got this reaction. So steer clear of glasses that can potentially react or have lead or something like that in them that can potentially react with the decal paper. Now I have no idea what glass is used in these decal papers or where it comes from. Don't have that information, but I'd stay on the safe side and pick non-reactive glasses. If you want to try other glasses, do tests to see whether they will react together. I'll just show you what we're trying to achieve here. This is a little rough and ready sketch. So you can see I've got this 35 mils by 25 mils. Of course you can make it whatever size you want and whatever shape you want, but for Easter eggs I'm trying to make this close to an egg shape. So that's 35 by 25, and then I'm just going to cut off the corners on the that you can see there a little bit more on top, so that once we fuse this up it'll be closer to an egg shape. So I've already got these colours cut into strips of 25 mils wide. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut these into 35 mil lengths, and then I'll cut the corners off. I'll show you cutting. So I just videoed me doing one of these and then realised that I was creating a shadow and my hand was in the way. So I'll redo another one and explain. Basically all we want to do is cut these corners off at about a 45 degree, make a longer cut off of these top corners up here, and when this is fused up this should all round out and be a bit like an egg shape. So to show you how I did that. I'm still going to make a bit of a shadow, but anyway. As I said, I just do it all by eye. Then I just snap those little pieces off. And that's all I do. I don't worry about cleaning up all these bits here. It all rounds out in the end in the kiln. Now it'll take a while to do all these, so I'll go through and do all of these, and so we can get it into the kiln before we go on to the next step. The cabs are finished fusing and you can see that they've turned out perfectly. They've all got that egg looking shape about them. That one's a little fatter, but it still looks like an egg. We've only had one problem. One of these blue ones has got a bit of de-vitrification on it. That might be my fault, but maybe I didn't clean it properly. But that doesn't really matter. I would put that in a tumbler and tumble it and then fire polish it again. So I'll now go and get our decals made up, and then we'll be back and put the decals on the cabs. Now to cut something on the Cricut machine, you need to have it placed onto one of their mats. Now that's what I'm doing here. I'm placing the decal material with the decal side down on the mat. I've found that if I have the decal material face up, I get small tears, doesn't cut cleanly. If I face it down, I get a nice clean cut. And then finally all I'm doing there is making sure that it is firmly attached to the mat. I did mention earlier about some software that needed to be downloaded for the Cricut machine. What you see here is the software. It is called Design Space, and it's where you'll design up your decals. This connects to the Cricut machine directly, and from here, once you've designed your decals, is you can then cut them on the machine. Now what I'm doing here is I'm going to get my graphics. In the design space they have quite a few free graphics. You can see I've searched on free Easter, and these are the graphics I'll choose. So I'm choosing 3 different designs. Once I've chosen my designs, I'll then insert them into the design space. I'll separate them and then I'll resize them, and I'll do that by changing the dimensions down to 2.4 and 3.4. And I'm doing that because the cabochons I've made are 25, which is 2.5 centimeters wide, and 35, which is 3.5 centimeters long. So I'm resizing them to just a fraction less than the size of the cabs. So now I've got them ready, I'll click on the Make It button, and that gives me this space. Now you can see that they were black, and on the black background of that they don't show up very well. So I'm going to change the colors to something else, which will be green. And then in this space here, I can see the outlines a lot better. Now, Cricut, when it is setting this up, has a little border there, so I like that. Move my designs in a little bit of space between them, so that I can ensure that they get cut correctly. Once that's done, I press continue. Now it wants me to select the material. I pick light cardstock. Then it's asking me to make sure that I've got the right blade in, and to then load the material ready for cutting. To get the decal material off of the mat, you should put the decal material on the table and bend the mat so that you take the mat off of the decals. Now if you do it the other way around, it will curve your decal material, which will make it a lot more difficult to work with. Now you can see here at the end, the decals are starting to lift out of the material and they are left on the mat. Now to get my decals off of the mat, just curve the mat until they start to release, and then either use your fingers or a pair of tweezers to take each piece off. So you see here all the decal pieces. I've laid them out so you can see how they all go together. What I'm going to do now is mix them up and put them on the cabs. You'll see what I mean in just a moment. There we are, I've mixed them all up, and that's how I plan to put them on the cabs. This blue one up here is the one that's got de-vitrification on it, so I'm not going to worry with that one. So I'll get on now and I will show you me applying the decals to one of them, and then I'll do the rest. So I've got some warm water here in a container, a bit of paper towel and a pair of tweezers. So it's fairly straightforward. I'm sure you're very familiar with applying the water slide decals. I just put that in the water for a few minutes until it loosens. Then we take it out of the water when I can get hold of it. There we go. Knock the light at the same time. Check that it slides, which it does. Get in the right orientation. And put it on our cab. Put the next piece in. So I'll save time, I'll put them all in. Not what I would normally do. Straighten that one up. Paper towel. Well, you're probably having a bit of a giggle about my choice of colours. Most of it was fine, but I think the choice of blue and green left a little bit to be desired. I don't mind the green. The red on the green has gone a little brown, but it's just, you know, that's what you get if you mix red and green. Hopefully you will choose better colours than I did. Now, there is a large range of colours available. In what I buy, I don't know, there must be 30 different colours. I've also noticed on the net that you can buy decal paper in with patterns on it. Now, just a word of warning about that, the decal paper I use is designed to be fired on top of the glass, but I've noticed a lot of the other is designed to be fired sandwiched between the glass. So if you're going to try and use it on top, make sure you do a test and just check that it's okay. So what else can I say? Oh yes, something I missed in the video. When you're putting your decals on, be sure to just lightly sponge off the top of the decal to remove any excess glue that might be there. And then before you put them in the kiln, after they've dried, just clean off around them, just to remove any possible fingerprints or anything like that. The software, that is part of Cricut and the setup for Cricut. So if you have a Cricut machine already, you'll be familiar with that. If you're going to buy one, that is just part of the setup, downloading and installing that software. What else have I got to say? The designs that I used for the eggs, there are plenty of free ones in the Cricut library, but keep in mind that you can look on the net. There's a lot of free spaces that you can use, or I should say free websites that you can use, so you can source a lot of graphics from there. Don't overfire. Make sure you pay attention to the manufacturer's instructions for the decal paper that you use. If you overfire, it will possibly cook the colour and degrade the colour a bit. And don't forget, I just used them on some cabochons. but you could use these on bowls, trinket dishes, almost anything that you like. So they're very versatile, and a little bit of imagination, heavens knows what you'll come up with. And I think that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed that and got some good ideas. Please don't forget to subscribe if you do enjoy it, and if you want to watch a couple of videos, they're up here, and that's my little remote control. And until the next video, I will say bye for now.